María José Albornoz. I'm from IEL Section 2, and this is my presentation for my first task. In this presentation, I'm going to talk about Socioemotional learning, which is a unit that we have been studying so far during this semester. To do my presentation, I have organized the information in the following order. Firstly, I will be presenting what Socioemotional learning is and it's relevant to education. Then I will be talking or making a quick diagnosis on my IEL experience to determine whether Socioemotional learning is present here or not. And finally, I will be presenting a proposal to implement Socioemotional learning in the classroom. So let's begin. Social-emotional learning is defined as a process in which students or any learner can acquire different skills, attitudes, and knowledge necessary to understand and manage emotions, to set and achieve different goals, to make responsible decisions, have a better problem solving, and have better or more healthy relationships. So, in this sense, we can understand that social and emotional learning is all about social and emotional skills. This will lead us to have a more effective learning in our learning development. It is necessary to understand also that social and emotional skills are just as necessary to be developed as the functional skills such as reading and math. And also it's necessary to know that the sooner that we are exposed to social and emotional learning experiences, the better for our learning process. So, in this sense, we can identify five main ideas taken from the definition of social and emotional learning that was given by the collaboration of Academy for Social and Emotional Learning, an organization that aims to integrate social and emotional learning in schools from preschool to high school. So we can identify five main ideas: managing emotions, having empathy, solving problems, making responsible decisions, and maintaining healthy relationships. So the first one is social emotional managing emotions. With social emotional learning, students can recognize their emotions and feelings and be aware of how those things affect the way they act, the way they behave, and also the way they learn. So it's going to raise awareness in the students about the situation, and also it gives them tools to recognize the best way to manage those emotions to overcome the situation. In terms of education, teachers are seen as guides and facilitators of this process. Teachers need to encourage the students to explore these different emotions and find the best solution or the best way to manage those things and have better results in the learning process. So we need to encourage them to self-regulate themselves in order to have a more effective learning process. The second idea is having empathy. The text of emotional intelligence defines empathy as the ability to be aware of the self and understand how others feel. This is important because it refers to the idea of being or taking care of the self first, after understanding what other people is feeling or doing or going through. So we need to be conscious, we need to be aware of our process first, of our emotions, of ourselves, and then we can help other people to manage their own problems. And that's also needs to be understood as, from my perspective, I can do something to help you. And that will be something that students need to develop during the learning process. In terms of education, teachers also need to encourage students to show empathy towards others, to go through this process of finding the answers for themselves and then to understand other people. So students also are going to be willing to engage into more meaningful interactions with other people, despite of the stereotypes or the prejudices or misconceptions that they have of other people, not wanting to hurt them, but actually understand them and help them before addressing any situation. The third idea is solving problems. So once students can manage or learn how to manage their emotions and show empathy towards others, they can have or find solutions to problems in a more peaceful way, understanding and communicating more assertively what they want and what they need. Here, our role as teachers is really important because we are going to be the ones modeling behavior. Students are constantly looking at us, imitating the way we are, the way we talk, how we treat other people, and so we need to be able to model the behavior we expect them to have. So through these examples that we are giving them, we are also giving them tools to see clear solutions in their problem in the problem solving. So students are going to be able to see this dilemma of choosing what they want versus choosing what they really need as just one big answer that they need to uncover what's underneath the situation in order to fulfill their needs, which is the most important thing. Fourth main idea is making responsible decisions. Students who are exposed to social emotional learning are more likely to make more responsible decisions, and they are also more likely to have more positive academic outcomes, which is one of the aims of social emotional learning. Not the main one, but it's one of the aims. This also is going to lead to have more positive behaviors in our classroom, which is a positive consequence for us as teachers. The students are going to want there because they like to be learning, but not because they are forced to. And finally, maintaining healthy relationships. Students that are exposed to social emotional learning are going to develop social emotional competencies, and it's going to be easier for them to interact with other people or to engage into social interactions. Their social interactions are going to be improved, and it's going to be easier for them to communicate what they want, the things they need, the things they like, and to assertively also engage into meaningful interactions, having meaningful connections to people. Not only superficial interactions, but actually getting to know the people and care about what the other people is saying or feeling or going through, which is a very important thing of social emotional learning. So we can say that social emotional learning has a really strong impact on education. First, because it gives tools to teachers to motivate their students, to engage to encourage the students' learning process, and finally to connect with them in different ways. And all this is going to take place in an environment in which the focus is put on the student learning process, which is the most important thing here. Secondly, fostering a positive learning environment is going to help our students to connect what they are learning to their experiences, finding meaningful learning experiences for them to acquire and to internalize as their own. This can be achieved through different social emotional learning activities such as mindfulness activities, movement breakers, ice breakers, and warm-ups that are really good. They are a really good input and resources to engage our students in our classroom. And finally, SEL also help us to change our students' dispositions toward learning in terms of they are going to care about the learning process. They are going to desire to be there. They are going to feel connected to the rest of the students, to the teacher, and also to the school, which is going to create a sense a sense of belonging in the students. They are going to feel part of a learning community, which is most of what students want to feel. About my IEL, I have been attending to Colegio Técnico Profesional Aprender, which is located in La Pintana. It is a private subsidized with share financing schools. It belongs to a corporation, Corporación Educacional Aprender. And the main aim of this corporation is to give or to provide quality education to those sectors or to those people in the community who do not have easy access to quality education. Mostly people that live or that come people that come from very socially vulnerable sectors of the community. So the students that come to this school they come from vulnerable backgrounds, and it also gives a Catholic formation. In terms of the English classes are divided into 2 groups. Each group is formed by about 20 students. They have 3 hours of English per week, and the school does not follow the national curriculum and material. The teacher, my guide teacher, she's always the one talking, doing most of the talk during the classes. The students are sitting in rows looking at her while she's talking. She asks the students to repeat information, but she doesn't allow them to interact as much. The students do not work in groups, they don't work in pairs, they only have individual work. They tend to get bored easily, they tend to lose their attention and start being really distracted. The students that I work with, they are in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, and recently also kindergarten. So they are really young learners, and they want to be moving, they want to be active, they want to be playing, they want to be doing things that allows them to learn, as well as being just listening to the teacher. So after all this, can we identify if social emotional learning is present here? It is not. So, because of the things that I just mentioned, lack of motivation of the students, we have disruptive students. The students are really mean to each other. They tend to pick on little fights and little arguments in front of the teacher, and the teacher does not address those situations. There's a lack of trust. The students feel like they cannot tell the teacher that they want to do something else, that they want to have more dynamic activities, or have different plays for them to be learning too. And also there is a lack of interaction, which is the main focus of my proposal. Students want to be learning in groups, they want to be working in groups, even though they are mean to each other, they like to work together, they like to share what they think about the things they are learning, and this is very important. So I think that students need, in this given context, the students need social emotional learning. So my proposal is directed to fulfill the needs that students have in this specific context. Students want to be active, students want to learn, and students want to interact. In order to do this, I propose to have different activities during the class, so students can be more engaged in the lessons and actually learn or be motivated to learn a second language. So, as I said before, my students are young learners, mostly 3rd grade, and they come right after the break. They want to keep moving, they want to keep talking, playing, and doing whatever they want, but be sitting the whole time. So, I think it's a good idea to begin the class with a warm-up activity where students can be active, can recall previous knowledge, previous content. I can say that students need to engage in collaborative learning. And students in this context that I just showed of my IEL experience, they want to share, they want to interact, they want to work together to find or to construct different knowledge, and they are not being given the opportunity to do so. So it's important that they are exposed to being in this type of collaborative learning. I also strongly believe that through collaborative learning or through social emotional learning, social emotional skills are going to be developed, and it's going to be a contribution for the students later development on life. Not, as I said, not only in schools and work, but also it's going to be helpful for them in their entire life. And lastly, I consider mindfulness and any other social emotional learning activity as a powerful tool that is going to help the students to take they are going to be empowered, they are going to be the ones in charge of the learning process, being mindful and thoughtful, and they are going to understand that why they are learning the things they are learning, what is the importance behind those learnings, and they are going to be more meaningful contributions to their own learning process after that. And that being said, here are the references for my presentation, and thank you for your attention.